Hi everyone, I'm going to be going over the course outline for PSY560, which is Propaganda and Persuasion, the Power of Social Influence. This course is a dual credit course. I'm going to be facilitating. My name is Jessica Clarkson. So to go over the outline or rationale of the course, we're going to be looking at propaganda and persuasion and how it relates to social psychology. So retailers, marketers, advertisers, the broadcasting industry, the military, public speakers, and educators have long understood the principles of social influence. As that knowledge, along with communication technology, has increased, so has the amount of influence that screams for our attention daily. This subject will outline the major tools and theories of social influence by demonstrating how theories actually work in real life. It will also help us see beyond persuasion strategies in order to make more objective decisions and assert greater control over our behavior. So how you're going to be evaluated in this course is as follows. We will be completing discussion boards each week, and those will be worth a total of 20% of your mark. These discussion boards will be posted on Blackboard, and there will be a second video to illustrate how you're going to actually post those. You will have two tests. Your first test is worth 15% and your second test is also worth 15% of your total mark. You'll have two assignments. The first assignment will be worth 10%. The second assignment will be worth 15%. And you will have a final exam, which will be worth 25% of your mark. The textbook that we're going to be using is Influence, Science and Practice, which you will be receiving during the orientation. And any of your assignments that you'll be submitting will be done using MLA style. You can pick that textbook up or research guide up at the library. You can also find MLA information online at the Seneca Library website. So, looking at the course outline, this essentially will tell you everything you need to know about the course, when we're doing what we're focusing on, when your assignments are due, when your tests are happening. Everything is on the course outline, so it's really important that you study it to make sure that you're comfortable with it, as well as keep it on hand to make sure that you are coming to each and every class that is important. They're all important, so you should be here all the time. But this week is just a brief introduction to the course, looking at psychology as well as social psychology. The second week, we're going to be looking at research methodologies, so different research tools that are used in social psychology as well as psychology in general. And there will be some resources on My Seneca for you to look at for that. You will have an online discussion that's due in week 2, and again, there'll be more information in a follow-up video. Week number 3, we're going to be looking at classical and operant conditioning and social learning theories. The resources will be available to you on the My Seneca Blackboard page. As well, you will have to complete an online discussion. Week 4 is going to look at weapons of influence, and this is going to be looking at chapter 1 of your textbook, and you will be completing an online discussion about that content. Week 5 is going to be looking at the nervous system, memory, and emotion, and that is going to be available through you on My Seneca. We'll be having an online discussion, as well as your first test will be in class during week 5, which will be at the beginning of class, but it will be on weeks 1 to 4. The week after, so week 6, we'll be looking at reciprocation, which is chapter 2 of your textbook. We'll also have an online discussion. Week 7, we'll be looking at commitment and consistency, which is chapter 3 of your text. You'll have your first assignment due during week 7 and an online discussion. Week 8, we're going to look at social liking and social proof. And that's going to be looking at chapters 4 and 5 of your textbook. We're also going to have an online discussion. Week 9, we're going to be looking at authority and scarcity, which are chapters 6 and 7, and we'll have an online discussion during that week as well. Week 10, we're going to focus on media and propaganda. There'll be resources available to you on My Seneca. And you'll have a test, which is looking at chapters 6 to 9. Week 11, we're going to continue resources from propaganda and media, and there'll be another follow-up discussion. Week 12 is going to be looking at instant influence, which is chapter 8 of your text, and your second assignment is due in week 12. Week 13, we're going to have a review because the following week in week 14 will be your final exam. So there is information in the course outline about the grading system, how it works. So we're using letter grades. So what letter grade relates to specific percentages, as well as GPA score. So you do need to complete term work in order to write the final exam. So make sure that you are completing everything, handing it in, and working with me to figure out how we can get all of your work in. That brings us to the evaluation of work. This is based on correct language use, organization, and mastery of the subject at a post-secondary level. Students are expected to learn professional standards of performance in the subject areas, and tests and assignments will be graded on that basis. In recognition of the significance of exceptional communication skills in the workplace, marks are deducted for language errors on all tests and exams. A student can be failed on the basis of language errors alone. Another thing to look at is any missed test presentations, in-class assignments, etc. They are mandatory. Classes are mandatory for you to come in order to be successful in the course. If you miss a class because of a injury, an illness, any outside of your control situations, you need to let me know so we can figure out how we can make sure that you are making up for any missed tests or presentations or in-class assignments. But you do need to notify me before the class starts. So please send me an email. Let me know if you are unable to make class and we can work on alternative arrangements. If you don't let me know beforehand, unfortunately, there's not much I can do. But if you send me an email before you're missing a class, then we can work together on this. The dual credit program is a little bit different, so you will have to also make sure that you are meeting the dual credit requirements, which I believe you can only miss 2 classes. You do also need to provide me with some sort of support that lets me know documentation of where you had been, why you were not able to miss the class. So that could be a doctor's note. It could be anything that provides documentation that it was a legitimate reason for you to miss class, and the legitimate reasons are going to be a family emergency, illness, injury, that sort of thing. Late assignments will result in a penalty of 5% per day to a maximum of 5 consecutive days. So if you do not hand in an assignment after 5 consecutive days, you'll be graded with a 0. So if you are going to be having difficulties completing an assignment, you must let me know beforehand so we can work out alternative arrangements. If not, you will be receiving a 5% deduction per day. After 5 days, you will get a 0 on that assignment. So attendance and participation, we talked briefly about this beforehand, but attendance is mandatory for dual credit programs. It is mandatory if you want to be successful in this course. It is very important to come to class in order to be successful in the subject. Getting notes online is very limiting in terms of the amount of knowledge that you're going to be have and be shown and be aware of. So if you do need extensions or special considerations, make sure that you do put the request in well in advance of any due dates. My faculty office hours are by appointment only, so make sure that you do email me if you want to meet and talk about anything regarding the course, content, assignments, missed classes, anything like that. I also have posted my Skype address on Blackboard, so if you want to meet with me over Skype, that's appropriate as well. The Learning Center offers academic support to all Seneca students. So they do have tutoring at the Learning Center. If you are interested in peer tutoring, that is a great resource that you can use. And dropping a subject, there's specific due dates for dropping a subject. Again, with dual credit, the rules are a little bit different. So make sure that if you are interested in dropping the subject that you notify me, Kylie Bolton, as well as your dual credit instructor. The course outline also stipulates academic regulations, looking at academic honesty, which is very important. Academic honesty is focusing on things like plagiarism, and the penalty for the first offense is a grade of 0 on the work where the offense has occurred, and there will be a comment placed on your transcript. The second offense is an F in the course, as well as a second comment on your transcript with immediate suspension from the college for a minimum of 3 semesters. So academic honesty is a big deal. It's very important that if you have any questions about academic honesty, you let me know beforehand so we won't find you in this sort of mess. So we want to be able to fix it before it happens. Any student appeals that you have, you can talk to your student advisor or the dual credit program advisor, your dual credit teacher. Make sure that you are being treated fairly at Seneca College. There is information about copyright material, information about accepted IT usage, discrimination and harassment, and accommodations for individuals with any disabilities. So make sure that you are familiar with your rights and responsibilities as a student, as well as any accommodations that you might need. And if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Again, my email address is on the top here. It's jessica.clarkson@senecacollege.ca, and we will be able to work through this. So I'm very excited to work with you guys this semester, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.